Hello there. My name is Tirza Ekholm, and I am an artist. I create art in physical media such as acrylic paints, watercolors, and textiles. And I also create digital art using my photographs, going straight from digital art. And lately, I have been getting into the world of NFTs. This is such an exciting world, and I'm delighted to share with you my journey. Along the way, I'd like to share with you what I'm learning. There's a ton out there, but so let's get started. So to begin with, what are NFTs? Well, NFT stands for non-fungible token, right? So an example of an NFT that you might not think about, that you might think about every day, is your emails or your text messages. Non fungible means non interchangeable. They tend to be unique items that can't be easily exchanged for yet another unique item. And the reason I mentioned emails is because you look at emails all the time and you might not think about them as being similar to NFTs. An email consists of typically of a from line, a to line, a subject line, and the body of your email, and maybe even a signature line. But each one is unique from another. So you might send an email to one person or you might send it to thousands of people, but that email is intended for those particular people. That email is not now interchangeable with some other email. For example, if you use a text message and you're inviting somebody to dinner, that text message is unique because it's going to be sent to a particular person. It's not interchangeable with the text message you send to somebody to let them know where you are, for example. Right, or that you're contacting them maybe to set up a meeting. So these are non interchangeable. Another example that people like to use, that I would like to use, is cryptocurrency. So, because NFTs are so closely related to cryptocurrency, we're going to get into that. Cryptocurrency is composed of different currencies. It's composed of coins. Well, one Bitcoin looks like any other Bitcoin. So if I give you a Bitcoin, you can spend it or invest it in the same as any other Bitcoin. So those coins are interchangeable. So they're considered fungible. Whereas NFTs are non-fungible. Now, right now, people are using NFTs for digital art because, well, art tends to be unique. Now, having said that, some people are building great collections of hundreds and thousands of pieces of art. They may all be similar in nature, kind of like your emails, as we'll talk about, because they're collectibles. But for example, all the bored apes or the crypto kitties, they have the same fundamental structure, but each one is unique and therefore they are non-fungible. And then as they get out into the marketplace, they remain non-fungible, even in the prices that people may be paying for them. Now, what makes these things so special? Whether it's cryptocurrency or it's non-fungible tokens, the reason these are so amazing is that they live on something called a blockchain. Now you're going to ask me, what's a blockchain? Well, think of a blockchain. It's a digital ledger. So anytime anything happens to the item that we're talking about, token or cryptocurrency or whatever, it gets recorded on the blockchain. So for example, I create a piece of digital art, then I go to put it on the blockchain, on the platform where I'm going to be selling it or displaying it. That first item is going to be the first line in that digital ledger, or the blockchain says, created by Tirza Ekholm. And then the next line on the digital ledger, the blockchain, will be that I minted this particular item into something that we call a token, a non-fungible token. And then the next line will be that I listed it for such and such a price. And then hopefully the next line will be that maybe somebody made me an offer or that they actually purchased the item. And then each succeeding sale, no matter what happens to it, gets recorded. And this is there for the public, anyone to see. Another way to think about this is if you ever deal in real estate, right? A piece of real estate has a title history. So you know when the piece of property was first mapped out, what the boundaries are. Did the boundaries ever need to get changed? Did it change zoning? Was a building put on it? Was a building taken off of it? This is all recorded in the title record. This is the same thing as a blockchain, only a blockchain is digital. It's in the digital universe. Another thing that makes NFTs so exciting for artists, we finally have a way to sell, a really great way to get our art out there and sell it to the people who really are interested in what we are creating. The next really cool thing I want to talk about is that when you mint your NFT or you put your art on the blockchain, you can specify whether you want royalties. And this is what most artists are doing, hopefully. So whenever that piece gets sold again and again and again to the next buyer, the original artist, the original creator, still gets a percentage of the sale. And this is really cool and exciting. The other thing is it helps authenticate a piece of art. So you know that it was put there by the original creator. It's right there on the blockchain, so there's no disputing that. This is, I think, NFTs as well as cryptocurrency are the most exciting advances in technology to come, and we're only beginning. So NFTs can be a whole lot more things than I'm talking about here. We won't get into those today. We're just going to stick with digital art today because that's what a lot of people are doing. But know that NFTs can be used in science and in research and in business and in real estate. Anything that needs to be digitally documented, for example, and easily sold and resold, all can be put on the blockchain. And this makes it super exciting. And you can always trace the history of something from beginning up until the time that you're looking at it. Now, one of the questions that I've gotten from people is, well, gee, that's great. What am I going to do with this NFT after I bought it? What am I going to do with it? Well, for example, you can project it onto a wall, just like you would a painting. You can actually there's a whole bunch of devices that you can buy, so you can not only project it on a wall, but project it in a certain way so that it looks like a painting. So, for example, a recent customer of mine sent me a picture of the NFT he had purchased from me. It's sitting like above his mantle, and it looks like an actual painting on the wall. I was just kind of blown away. I was really impressed. So you can also put your digital art, into virtual galleries and museums. The next thing that people do with the NFTs or digital art is they use them as investments. So one thing that I'll kind of say is purchase things that you actually like or believe in. But then if you wish to go sell it, it's like an investment. You can hopefully sell it for more than you paid for it, which is a really cool idea. So a lot of these NFTs, whether they're original art pieces like some of the ones that I'm creating or original photographs, when they're doing these collectibles, they're buying and selling and trading them all day long, and it's really exciting stuff. So right now, the kind that I'm doing is I'm doing more of the unique pieces of art versus these collectibles like you might use. Think of online games, online video games. You've got the characters, you've got the avatars who will have their own unique accoutrements, sunglasses, unique outfits, weapons, lotions, potions. I mean, it's a whole new world. These NFTs are providing the basis for the metaverses that are being created now and are going to be created moving forward. For example, imagine going into meetings, just as was announced recently by Mark Zuckerberg for his newly named company, Meta. Imagine going to a meeting being represented by a full-body avatar who's moving around the room. And so you feel like you're not just looking at a flat screen of faces like we do now, you'll be able to move around the room and interact. And then bring in very easily objects from either your physical surroundings or your digital surroundings. It's just beginning, and it's going to be really fun and cool, I think. So these NFTs are kind of the basis for that. And there'll be the marketplace for this is really going to be huge. So do pay attention to this. Another thing that can be uploaded are video clips, or maybe entire videos like this one, although this one may be too long. The other exciting thing that I'm working with now is not only am I working with my own artworks, but I am collaborating with other artists. So I'm working with other photographers to get their beautiful photos up onto NFT platforms, again, to be easily sold and marketed. And what I wanted to share with you about that is when we talk about platforms, which I'm going to talk about in my next video, there's all kinds of platforms already out there. They're already differentiating themselves into places for just rare kinds of art. There are platforms that specialize in auctions. There are others that specify in allowing collaborations or teams of collaborations. You can even set up a collection where you're inviting other artists to submit their work right along yours. So there's a lot of fun and exciting things. I'm just getting started in it. I'm so happy that you're on this journey with me. As I said, the next videos that I'm going to be talking about the different platforms there are, how to set up a digital wallet, which is what you're going to need, as well as how to market them and how to create communities, because creating your community is key to, just like in business, moving things forward for sale and for trade and for investment. So today, my request of you is that if you find this information interesting or you like it, please hit the like button, comment below, tell me what you liked or you didn't like about it, what questions you may have. Hit the subscribe button if you're looking at this on my YouTube channel. And please jump into my Facebook group, NFTs for the beginners and the curious. And we are just beginning this fabulous journey, and thank you so much for coming along. Bye for now.